Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hi, hello. Sorry, there was a frog in my throat. Why, hello.
No. I want you to do that voice for the whole episode.
Fuck off.
It should be me. I'm the one who's been sick this week. Usually it's you who's a bit croaky, but
yeah,
I've been a little bit sick, so pardon the croakiness. And hopefully there will be no coughing in the episode because I'll edit it all out, but there'll probably be plenty on the recording.
Yeah, I have a feeling there will be.
But anyway, this is Bitstorm, and we're going to play Click Pitch, and let's get into it. So, Click Pitch. Do you want to do the definition, our explanation this week, Trevor?
Our explanation. Okay, we have a random word generator in front of us. We both click refresh on the count of 3, 2, 1, and then click. We mash those two words together and create a game design.
It's a very sensual process.
Yes, especially with your wonderful, sexy voice today.
Oh, yeah. Let's get these words on.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Bean.
3, 2, 1, click.
All right, mash them together. My word is mistake.
Shopped.
Shopped?
As in
like the past,
SHOPPED.
Right, the past tense of shop.
Yes.
Okay. So is this a game somehow about getting home after a shopping trip and finding that you've bought something incorrectly by mistake?
I think this might be a game in which you have made a mistake and you're returning an item to a place that doesn't normally accept returns. So you've got to actually try and convince the person to allow it. So it's a mobile game. So it's only a very quick thing, and you can just randomly select the item, and it's one of those. In fact, just to make this really quite fun, you're going.
That is the idea.
The item that you're returning is maybe sexual in nature. You're basically returning a sex toy.
A sex toy of some sort.
To like Sexyland or Club X or whatever.
Yeah. Big Joe's Sex Emporium. No,
Yeah,
he
something
definitely takes returns.
I'm just imagining, they're going to say, wait, this package is open. Was this used?
This package is dripping.
So
hey, you took it to sex toys. What was that?
I had a drink, and it was just like it dropped back in.
Oh, I thought you had a soundboard there. You were doing the dripping sound effect. It was perfect.
I guess you're just going to use that in the edit now.
I'll just cut that in immediately as I say the word dripping. All right. So how does this game play out? Is it sort of dialogue tree based?
Yeah, I'm thinking you've got a whole heap of different items in which you're trying to return, and
none of them were satisfactory.
None of them were satisfactory, and I'm thinking maybe in the backstory you're actually purchasing from somewhere else and trying to give to this other store which has a very similar receipt, and you're trying to make money out of it.
So you have to fake the receipt in some way.
Yeah, I think that can be part of it, and then it's all about persuading the person that you're the clerk behind the desk to accept it without going to the manager.
Okay, so there's a little meter for how pissed off they are before they're going to call a manager in, and you have to sort of make them feel better somehow by, I don't know, accepting that, okay, so you're not going to take the half empty bottle of lube back. But I have a barely grazed fleshlight here that I think you're going to find just,
I've got this extra large butt plug. And it doesn't smell whatsoever.
Don't ask why I'm returning it.
It was too small.
Oh, this episode is off to just
to a great start.
To a raging start. Just a dripping start. I think it's time to 3, 2, 1, click.
Approaching.
Breakdown.
Approaching breakdown. So it's a game where you play a clerk at a sexy land.
Yes, this fucking asshole keeps bringing in this stuff that he's obviously had inside of himself.
Okay, so I kind of like the idea that it's a clerk at like a post office or something like that, and you're having to deal with different customer complaints, and depending on the customers that come in and how irate they are and all that sort of stuff, your character's gradually approaching a breakdown. But the breakdown could actually be, you know, him deciding to quit his job or him deciding to go postal if it's in a post office or something like that.
All right, so I went in a different direction, but maybe we can combine the two. Maybe we can combine the two. So I went to breakdown from a musical sense, right? Like you get to the breakdown in a song, which is kind of the like I don't even know what the terminology is. It's like the bridge sort of thing, or it's like it's where it, you know, it changes tempo, it changes whatever. Maybe it's your game, but it's rhythm based. And then the breakdown is like using star power kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you have this breakdown, but it actually just makes you, well, maybe it makes you like uber productive. And so you can like get rid of these customers even faster because you're just raging. Or, yeah, you just like have a complete psychotic break and you just go on a killing spree. And that really cuts down the number of customers quickly, and your score multiplier just skyrockets.
So you're saying a rhythm game?
Yeah, so
but only when you get to the breakdown?
No, the whole thing's a rhythm game. So I'm almost thinking a little bit like Tapper. So you've got...
Going back to the Tapper well.
Yeah, tap that well. You've got people coming towards you. They're all irate. You're in the complaints department for a major department store or something, and you have to hit buttons at the right time as they get to the front of the line to make them happy and give them refunds or you know, just keep them occupied enough so that you can get a manager in or something. And it all has to happen to the beat.
Okay, so what I'm actually seeing is taking your Tapper idea and sort of taking a typing of the dead sort of idea as well.
Okay.
I think this is very similar to something that you had tried to make yourself, in that each person that comes up has a certain sequence of notes that you've got to actually play. So you need to be lined up in their line, and then you need to play that series of notes, however long it is, and that will deal with that customer. And then you move to the next one. So at the start, you know, you sort of maybe the first customer is like blue, red, blue. So you're like blue, red, blue, and then you move to the next one just by strumming the because I'm thinking this is a Guitar Hero game.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's probably a drums mode as well.
Yeah, probably drums mode as well. But then later on, you may get to orange, orange, green, red, yellow, blue, orange, blue, yellow, and it's like that got that customer out of the way, and you can start having to, you know, move to the next one, and if they get to the front of the line and they queue up too much,
yeah, then they get mad and your manager does come and you lose points or you lose your multiplier or something. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that is similar to a game I tried to make years ago where it was aliens attacking the Earth and you had to use the Guitar Hero controller to hit the sequences on them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is cool. So, and obviously you have to do it in the right rhythm along with the song.
Yes.
To get the most points. Can you do half of the sequence for one particular person and then like switch off to someone else and do their sequence and then come back and finish it? Or is that just going to ruin, like that's not going to go along with the song well enough so you...
I think you can, but it means that if you make a single mistake along the way, it or if you take too long to get back to a person, it gradually adds notes back on, or adds notes to the end that you've got to like hit to actually get rid of that person.
So we probably can't make it necessarily that the sequences on a particular person are specific notes in the song. It's more just as long as you hit them in the rhythm of the song. Then okay.
Yeah, Crypt of the Necrodancer style that you have to hit something within that time, and that can just be literally jumping to other people as part of it.
Yeah.
So
that's
down,
it. I mean,
down,
and a little
green,
bit like
blue, red, that sort of thing.
Well, kind of like Rock Band Blitz in that way too. In a way of you had to jump between the different channels. I don't know if you ever played that. You had to jump between the different channels in time as well. But
yeah, I think that could actually be quite a fun game.
Yeah, that's cool, and it's got quite a unique setting for a rhythm game too. So I don't think there's many other like complaint department rhythm games out there.
And I'm thinking that at the start, like pretty much you've got time for each customer to have a maximum of 6 notes. If they get like to 7, then they start getting irate, and then it starts adding more notes on faster until the point that you literally can't keep up.
Yeah,
so you have to be sort of thinking of what you're actually doing at each time. And yes, you can miss notes because you may be waiting for a certain part in the song. But if you miss too many notes in a row, then it adds it adds more to each of your customers that are at your complaints department.
Oh, right. So you missed. Okay, it adds to all of them. So it's a real penalty. Yeah.
If you missed, like, I think it's 3 in a row, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Then it'd be
an interesting multiplayer experience too. 2 players at once being able to, like, you go hit line 4 and I need to finish off these 2 customers in line 2.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And kind of like Typing of the Dead, the second that you see them coming down, you can actually start, hitting those notes beforehand. So we sort of like they haven't even come up to the desk yet, but he's like managed to turn them away before they get there.
Yeah. So, just throws paper airplanes of refunds at him or something.
You just see him just throw cash at them.
And if you do a simultaneous breakdown just to bring it back to the original word, then you get real multiplier points, and you're both just jamming away.
I think the as you said before, the breakdown's kind of like the star mode. So there's certain customers that have give you the star power, as it were, because they were really difficult customers, and if you manage to get them in one hit, then you get given the star power. And then basically I'm thinking what the star power mode can actually do is reduce everyone's notes down to 2 or 3, so you can knock out a whole heap of customers in quick succession.
Well, and from the music point of view, we put this in the hands of Harmonix, they're the fucking masters of this stuff, like Drop Mix that's just come out. They'll be able to make it so that whatever song you're playing, you hit the breakdown button and it does change the fucking tempo and change the way that the song's being mixed in real time. So it sounds like the actual breakdown, and you can just boom, 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 boom. Go home, fucking Janet.
I'm now imagining you're playing.
That coupon is invalid. Banana now.
You're playing the sort of fast solo from Through the Fire and Flames as the as the breakdown in this particular one. It's like, oh my god,
it's the boss. You're just invalidating coupons left and right.
Let's click again. 3, 2, 1. Click.
Yeah, I think we better. Muck.
Repeating.
Okay. It's Groundhog Day, but you're a pig.
Okay.
That's all I had. I don't know. Every day you notice it's the same slop, the same muck in your trough. No, that's a terrible idea. Come up with something better.
Okay, so have you seen the Netflix movie Naked?
I have not. It's on my list. I've heard mixed things. So
It wasn't bad. So I'm thinking it's kind of like that in that
no spoilers.
every day. No. I'm thinking every day you pretty much wake up and you're just falling face first into muck.
Okay.
So you get up and you're covered head to toe in muck.
Right.
And you've got basically the day to try and do something.
Yeah. Classic Groundhog Day style. You're sort of trying to figure out what's going to close the time loop and let you not repeat the day waking up and falling into muck.
So I'm thinking what it can actually be is at first you're on a farm and there's lots of crazy things that you can kill yourself with. And if you die, then you end up back in there. I'm thinking kind of the funny stuff out of Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Okay.
Kind of like you trip and you go headfirst into a combine harvester or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing all these funny sort of death things, and the whole thing is every time that you die, obviously you go back to the start, and it's pretty much trying to work out how you ended up in this muck.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, because like maybe it's a mixture of Dude, Where's My Car and Groundhog Day, in that you can't remember the last 24 hours, but also the day is repeating.
Yes.
So you've got that day to basically do what they did in Dude, Where's My Car, which is go back and unravel where they'd been for the last 24 hours with all these crazy events. But because you've got repeating time to do it, like, yeah, you don't have to do it all in one go, but by the end of the game, it's like, oh, okay, like you've worked it out and you know what you have to do next.
So I kind of like the idea, in the game Dead Cells, where you have every time that you die, you go back to the very start, and it's somewhat different.
Yeah.
That never seemed to get old. Like I still play that every now and again now, and I just go, you know what? Just because you're going back to the start doesn't mean that everything's sort of the same.
I mean, that's the classic roguelike formula from recent years, right? And yeah, so this sort of story would definitely work quite well in the roguelike genre.
So rather than, it being roguelike and things change every single time, I think things are always in the same position. You just now know, okay, don't step in between the trailer and the straw bales because, then a rampaging pig comes and disembowels me. Step between here, and then you can work out, your quickest way to get through this sort of thing, kind of like a speed run. That by the end of it, you're like, okay, jump over here, you run through here, knock the farmer out, get his clothes on, steal his truck. Now you're getting to the next place, and you can actually,
So the issue with these sorts of games, and I think people have tried this before or talked about this before, and I think we've talked about similar games before.
Yes, we have.
Where it is about this sort of repeating the same thing so you know what to do perfectly, is it could get really, really tedious. So I don't think we should necessarily go away from that idea, but what I think needs to happen is there needs to be some challenge to actually making it happen the way you want it to. And so it's about the challenge. It's not just the challenge of, and I mean, this could get frustrating as well, because I'm also just thinking of this brings me back even to like platformers where it's just, it's the same every time, but a lot of skill is needed to get through, and you have to memorize basically the best way to get through. We don't want it to be frustrating, and maybe we do bring in some roguelike stuff of, as you make your way through, your skills get better in some way, or we put in some gameplay mechanics to basically recognize the fact that you've been here before. So maybe as you go through, the correct way is highlighted, or like, I'm even thinking, and this doesn't quite go to your original idea, but if it's like a shooter or something, like a third-person shooter, it's things like when you're first going through, you're just going to get decimated. And you don't necessarily have new equipment and stuff every time, but it's things like, oh, now you know the boss's weak points and they're highlighted, and you get a sense of, oh, in 3 seconds, 5 people are going to come from here, and we actually like display that on the screen. It's not just that you as a player physically have to memorize it. Yeah. And so the beauty of it then at the end is that you're trying to get that one perfect run, but you've sort of got all these helpers along the way. as you repeat it.
Do you remember the game Phantom Hourglass?
The Zelda game?
The Zelda game on the Nintendo DS.
I played a bit of it. I haven't
So
finished it.
there was a middle level that you had to keep on going back to, but once you got to a certain point and you passed it in X time, you could then just skip that first part of the level and just go straight to
that point.
Straight to that. So basically, what you could actually do is have like a world timer that starts as soon as the game starts.
Yeah.
So everything is determined to happen at a certain time. Now, if you happen to get to say at 1 p.m. and 33 seconds, 3 guys come around the corner, and you're there at 1 p.m. and 1 minute, those 3 guys have already left. So, depending on how fast you can get there, depends on whether you see these 3 guys coming out and doing something. But
Right.
once you've worked out how to get out of the farm, steal his truck, and get to this one position, you can, next time that you die, you can automatically just go, okay, get to this location at this time because that's what I got to as my best time so far.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you can almost set like save points.
Yeah. At
It
any
could almost,
time you
it
can
could
go
almost
back
be
and
a manual thing. I think it could always be
Yeah.
a manual thing. Where, yeah, it's basically giving yourself unlimited save states to say, oh, all right, that didn't work. Let's go back to that one 3 loops ago where I got to this point at this time, and
Yep.
we'll see how what other ways I can do it from there.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
cool.
Then if you want to try and beat that time to get there 5 minutes earlier, you can go back and replay the start, or at any time you can just go, no, skip this end.
Yeah, or from like your best time to it from an earlier point. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of picturing this could be a bit like a Hitman level where there are, a bunch of different ways you can get through it with these different events happening at
Yes.
different times. And there is, 1 or 2 ways through the level where you could just do it super quick. Like if you're super quick, you're super accurate, you can hit your goal by just do this. But obviously you have to get the feel for the level, what happens at what time, sort out the repercussions of doing this, that, the order of doing things and stuff. Yeah, that could be cool.
Yep. And having the world timer so that, things happen at certain times, depending on, if you actually delay someone, then you can delay how long they may get to something else. So you may have to actually delay these 3 people here from getting to a meeting.
Right.
And then that causes them to be in trouble with the mafia boss or something like that. So you could actually have little things like that.
Yeah, so you know that some other event then is going to happen later. But the only way you can know that is by seeing it play out the first time. And then maybe there's some sort of memory kind of thing, like some sort of mechanic in place that lets you remember those things.
Yep.
When you get to that point then in future, you get a little reminder or something that says, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you don't do this, this other thing might happen or whatever.
Yeah. Kind of cause and effect. I like that.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
So, someone go out and make that.
But always, it'd be a tough game to make. You don't really have to script it really well and put some really good systems in place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first thing you always have to do is find a way to clean the muck off your clothes. Well, no, I guess there could be reasons to keep the muck on your clothes, but...
It turns out that the fastest way through is you just naked the whole time.
Well, there you go.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, click. Preserve.
Supporter. So, my mind goes to a phrase we use too often. My mind goes to, or I'm thinking, well, here's what I'm seeing.
I'm wondering, could this be...
So some sort of sports event where something is happening and you have to find a way to preserve all the fans, the supporters.
Okay, I was actually thinking preserve as in jam.
Okay, some sort of sports event, and you're a giant, and you have to come and steal sports fans to turn into...
To make human jam.
Yeah.
Or jelly for our American users.
No, okay, I like...
Listeners.
Yeah. Marmalade. I like your idea better. I think a jam-based game could work well. Maybe, are you trying to, like, kickstart your jam business? I feel like this is a point-and-click adventure. We haven't done one of those in a while.
Okay.
Let's build some narrative around this person who wants to kickstart their jam business. What's special about their preserves?
They're amazing. It's got ingredients that you've never thought should go into jam before.
Right.
So, like
bugs humans. And stuff?
Human
blood?
Babies.
Just babies of any kind.
Battery acid. Give that little bit of tingle.
Well, maybe there's maybe there's sort of an ulterior motive to this. Maybe it's that this person has discovered something, like they've discovered some sort of secret formula. I don't know.
I was sort of liking where it was going until you said point and click.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Take it in a different direction.
Okay. So, first-person shooter.
I'm with you.
I kind of do like the idea of a giant.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the giant world,
yep,
you've realized that down below the clouds, there's this amazing source of fruit, in quotation marks. And basically, you make these preserves that are like talk of the town. So the whole idea is that as you're going out and selling the fruit, or selling the preserves, occasionally you have to go down below the clouds to reap your harvest.
Yeah,
and that's where the first person shooter sort of stuff comes in.
Yeah, so you've got like some sort of suction gun.
Yep.
But it's that combined with like an economic simulator, like a lemonade stand style thing, where you have to set your prices and choose your other ingredients, how much human blood and bone to put into each of your preserves to get the perfect recipe.
Yes, but the thing is, many years ago, the government decided to basically hide the fact that there were humans below the cloud.
The giants government.
The giants government, because, you know, maybe humans are addictive.
Well, no, I mean, I kind of like the idea that there are groups out there in the giant world who know that humans are sentient beings and that they probably shouldn't be eaten, even though they're delicious. And perhaps slightly addictive. And so part of the selling process is that it's actually illegal if they find out that there's humans in your preserves.
It's not illegal to make it out of like fruit and some giant animals. but like hoovering it up from whole continents of people and that sort of stuff could be
So I like this has got a good arc to it, because there's like a truce between the giants and the humans, and it's been in place for hundreds of years, and so most of the humans have forgotten that the giant world exists. And so the first time you go down there with your little Hoover, we probably shouldn't be using actual brand names.
Yeah,
whatever. With your little vacuum gun, like they can't fight back at all. They're helpless. And so you get a good batch and you go back up and you create your recipes and you sell it and you don't tell anybody what's in it. Or maybe you can, but then you have to sell it on the black market sort of thing. Like you've got choices of how to market it and where to sell it.
But of course, you've got to be very careful, because if too many humans see you, then, you know, if one or two see you, it's sort of okay. You may get sort of like see a tabloid and you say, I saw a giant and he was who?
Yeah, well, that's it.
Vacuuming up people.
There's a sense of the media, like catching on to what's happening. So does that mean you have to be stealthy? Like that's pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm thinking giant stealth missions.
It's like hide behind fucking skyscrapers and shit. How big is this giant? Are we talking giant like 10 feet, or are we talking giant like 100 feet? Why am I using feet? I'm fucking Australian.
Yep. Anyway. A giant is in 6 meters tall, or
or like 60 meters tall.
I kind of like the idea that it's sort of 60 meters tall.
Right, it's like building size. It is actually building
size. So because people aren't looking up, if you stand still and you may be able to get redwoods that you put on your legs like stilts.
They just think they're trees. They just think you're a fucking tree. You're a giant on stilts, so you're even taller.
A giant on stilts, so you're even taller, and you just you're moving around on these stilts in the redwood forest. So of course you got to choose which stilts you're going to use depending on where you're going to be.
Right. So once you move into the more populated areas, you don't have redwoods. It's just it's like literal buildings.
That adds to it. And of course, if people are seeing, if they look up and then they go, "Oh my god!"
Well, the other thing is if you
suck them up with the vacuum.
Yeah, that's it. If you vacuum up the witnesses, you're okay.
Yeah, but that's why sometimes it's good to go into the redwood forest and get some hitchhikers. Oh, not hitchhikers. Fucking
hikers. Regular hikers.
Not hitchhikers, but hikers.
They aren't hitching anything. They're just hiking.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's cool. And then later on, inevitably, you are going to get enough heat that diplomatic talks between the giant and human world start, and you're a wanted criminal, and it's even harder. And the humans down below start bringing in the military, and they start bringing in some things that can actually damage you and hurt you. So,
but that brings in new flavors of jam.
Right. This is camo preserve. Only United States military in this jam.
I'm just wondering if there's different flavors between the countries. So different nationalities cost a bit different. Taste a bit different.
That's getting into some tricky stereotypical areas. I don't think we should go down that path. Maybe we go down the Sweeney Todd path of just professions. Just play that song that I don't remember any words to.
Yeah, I don't remember them either. Okay,
I'll put in a perfectly legal snippet of the song. No, I'm not going to bother doing that.
Fair enough. 3, 2, 1, click.
3, 2, 1, click. Gossip.
Loop.
Loop? L-O-O-P?
Yep.
So it's like a multiplayer game that's basically telephone in some way. Or a rumour starting game where you have to start a rumour, and then when it gets back to you, you get points for how much it's grown and how bad it's gotten.
Okay.
I don't know how that works from a mechanical point of view, but
yeah, especially because when you hear something, you can maybe put it all together again. Unless when you hear a rumour, you then have to click on the words just in sequence. So you hear a rumour and then you've got to repeat those words to the next person that you see, but you have to just remember what was said to send it on.
Yeah.
Kind of like in telephone, where you have to physically remember.
Yeah, well, I kind of like the idea that. Well, so is this a single player game or a multiplayer game?
I like it being multiplayer.
This could almost be like a Jackbox Party Pack sort of thing, where you get you get the names. Well, that'd be too easy if you get the names of actual people in your group. Because I'm thinking one of the things that's often might be hard to remember is just the names of people, fictional people that you've just been introduced to.
Yeah.
And so you get the initial rumor that Jack made out with Jessica and Lauren found out, but it only flashes up for a second, and then you have to somehow pass that on to the next person.
I'm thinking you have a whole heap of words sort of put together that you have to select which word happened when. Right.
So maybe that's it. Maybe you have to start putting a timeline together. Maybe it goes multiple rounds.
Yep.
So you have to you not only have to pass the rumor on, but then the next round a new rumor starts, and it's connected in some way. But you have to figure out, did it come before or after? Who was involved?
So Tony was behind the sofa, and he spied Jack kissing Jessica.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
just gradually build on what actually happened.
Build it up and layer, that and once Lauren saw them kissing, she went and told Frederick. He's Frederick. He's Frederick. She went and told Frederick, who was doing drugs. I don't know. What sort of rumors? I'm not a gossipy person. No, who was firing
his weapon in the air.
Sure. I was going with job firing. I was trying to bring another person into it. But yeah, like some sort of chain of events. Yeah, and so if you get the people mixed up or you get the order mixed up, like it's going to end up being something very different. And then you could even have it that it like plays out the differences or something, like it plays out what actually happened and plays out what each person said happened by the end.
Yeah.
And whoever got the closest wins or something.
But I mean, you could really screw it up from the very start. Like I think you could actually have it that like the start of the sentence is given to you, and then you have to choose the person, what they were doing, to which person, and it's selecting from like a list of those sort of things.
Of all the people who are involved.
Or just random names, like...
Yeah, or it could just throw extra ones in there, yeah.
Because, I mean, you've only just heard this, so it then asks you, after 3 seconds or so, now repeat it back to me, or repeat it to the next person, and you've literally got a list of 5 different names, so you could have actually given the names the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, it could even have, like, little... there could be an aspect of visual as well, because if we're doing it as sort of a Jackbox thing, it could give you on your phone or on the screen like faces instead of names. So you have to actually start attaching faces to names as well, which just gives obviously an extra layer of the possibility of getting things wrong.
Yep.
And so, yeah, like on the screen, it introduces the players to everybody, like the characters to everybody. And then the first person on their phone gets, Jack kissed. I don't know why it's always kissing, but that seems to be... Is this teenagers? It's probably teenagers. All they do is kiss. Jack finger banged...
Tony.
Tony. But it shows a face. Like, it says, like, some of it is names, some of it is faces. And so you have to... Yeah, like if you've been good enough at remembering who's who, like by their face, then you might do better. But you obviously can't describe the face to the next person, so you have to tell them in the name. You have to tell them the name.
Okay, so the person that starts the rumor gets played like a little video on their screen, and then they get to put together the rumor to send off to the next person.
All right,
and that way. That person has been the only one to actually see, what the actual rumor was.
Okay.
And then, you got to see how well you can actually put it round. And it's basically, if you did a good job at like creating a narrative, you see how long you can get the narrative to keep on going round in the loop, the more points that you get. Like
so
that everyone gets.
Do you get to I think it'd have to be that you do select from certain verbs and things though.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's that. Yeah. So first everyone gets introduced to the people at this party or whatever.
Yep.
On the big screen. The first person gets a little video on their screen of something happening. They have to then put in the names of the people and what happened.
Involved and what happened.
It's from drop downs and stuff, and maybe there is occasionally things added in there that like names added in there that don't actually go with one of the people in the party just to fuck you up a bit.
Yeah.
But then the next person doesn't get the names; they get the faces, right? So
yeah, with which to select after they've been told. It flashed up on their screen for 3 seconds.
Well, and then maybe they get
Tony and Lauren saw it and. Blah, blah,
yeah, but
blah.
they just see Jack's face. I don't know if finger banged Tony's face and Lauren's face. Sorry, yeah, and he's expressing himself.
Jack finger banged Tony's face.
Then maybe they see what happens next or before. Like maybe then they get a video and that adds to it. And so. If they get the names wrong, well, it could even be that based on what the first person did, like so they might We're fucking going to keep with this example, aren't we? So if the first person sees Jack finger banging Tony and then Lauren popping up, like that's the little video that plays up. But then, but because they've only seen the video and they got the names mixed up, they see Lauren. They put in Lauren finger bang Tony, and Jack saw it. But then that changes the video of what happens next. Right? Because they've already transposed those names. So the next person gets a video, if they'd got it right, it would have been a video of Lauren going off and like doing something else in response to seeing it, but they get the video of Jack going off and doing it. Like it's a little animated thing.
Okay, and then when it finally gets back to the person who started the rumor as part of the loop, they then score everyone else on how it all went. So the person who started the rumor doesn't get a score, but everyone else does. So they've all got to try and work together to try and get this right.
I think part of what happens is like the person who started the rumor gets a score based on how many aspects of it everybody else got right.
Yeah, but then you could have people that actually tank it. So I think the idea of having everyone else get a score and not the person who started it.
Well, I mean, they get a score too. I mean, often the way Jackbox works, like those Jackbox games work, is like you get a score for getting it right, but also the person who kind of set it up so that you would get it right also gets a score. So I think the people who got things right about it, because there could almost be every aspect. It's like, okay, how far did the name Jack stay correct, sort of thing, right? So you get it was 3 people before Jack and Tony got mixed up, so you get
Lauren
3 points or something, or whatever. So you could figure out a way to score that. Yeah.
I really want to see this video of Jack finger banging Tony.
Oh, just Google. I'm sure if you Google Jack finger banging Tony, you'll find something that strikes your fancy, Trevor. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Vinyl.
Standing. Hang on. Jack finger
banging Tony.
Third link's about prostate stimulation. All right. I want us to become the top result for this episode. Right. Standing vinyl. Some sort of, like, music vinyl based thing, perhaps?
Yeah. I do like the idea of it being to do with record vinyl.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, how to make a game out of that isn't similar to something that we've already done.
Maybe it's like an arcadey sort of game where you're some sort of, like you're a cockroach and you're on a spinning record player, like a spinning vinyl. And it's like just like an arcadey sort of endless runner.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure what you'd be dodging, except for the fucking
dust
needle,
particles,
the needle and the arm every time. Duck under it or jump over it.
No.
No.
It sounds like it should be ripe for game ideas, but just not.
Even if it's not record based, like vinyl flooring, vinyl clothes.
Divinals?
The divinals.
When I think about you, I touch myself.
There you go.
Oh, shit.
And I'm standing while I do it.
No.
I think this might be a click again. Yeah. Spending.
Reporting.
This is another spreadsheet game. I hate when they get these combinations. All right, no, it could be a, like, newspaper kind of thing.
Okay.
Like a journalism simulator of some sort.
That you're maybe an investigative reporter reporting into, like, the spending of the government.
Oh, okay. I was going more like a sim, like a builder sort of game where you're building up a newspaper or something. But, yeah, I don't know. Those are 2 very different directions.
They are.
we've probably done a lot of sim builders, but then we've done a lot of like third-person action adventures too. So I don't know what sort of mode, like, which is where my mind went for an investigative reporter. I don't know why. That's weird.
I'm seeing it as point and click.
Point and click into investigating government spending.
Do you remember the old CD-ROM game, Spycraft: The Great Game?
Yeah, I don't think I ever played it. Well, no, I don't think I ever played it.
So basically you played like a CIA agent and you had things to do in the game. Like you're doing some very basic investigations, looking through some reports and highlighting some ambiguities. And then
Sounds fascinating.
At one stage you had to like put together a photo of like, in order to like be able to arrest this other spy, you had to actually doctor a photo, and you can come up with some puzzles around. You know, at the start it can just be a very simple point and click. You're sort of looking through some of these spending things, and then you go, oh look, they said that this budget here was being spent on military, but the figures don't make sense, and then you can go into like
those planes were made out of polystyrene. Where did that money actually go?
This money actually went to Area 51.
Have you seen the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck?
No.
He's basically, I think he's like autistic in some way, but he's also an assassin, but a really good accountant. Basically. I don't remember it well enough to make references to it, obviously.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that you could, in the intro video, it basically says you've noticed that there's some inconsistencies over in government spending around this sort of area, and you can start investigating and asking questions and
like some sort of national broadband network. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to bring that up.
Not touching that with the 50-foot barge roll.
Somebody's joining the man. Yeah, okay, so there's some sort of government spending that is, surprise, surprise, not being spent in the right way, or how they're claiming it's being spent. So is this Papers, Please, except with accounting documents?
Oh, it could be.
It's like you have to sort through piles of figures and determine, and like click on each of them when you're like, this doesn't match up. And it goes, ding, ding, yes, you're right.
This spreadsheet here has got an incorrect formula in cell.
It says
A53.
It says hash error. What does that mean?
It says NA. It's like, oh, God damn it. It's doing a VLOOKUP.
Where's the pivot table?
Okay, so it's just an Excel game.
I told you this was a spreadsheet game. All right, I think we need to click again.
3, 2, 1, click.
Maker.
Punt.
Punt maker.
So it's a god game where you literally get to pick people up and just punt them.
Wasn't that black and white?
Punt them
Couldn't
into
you
the
pretty
sun.
much do that?
So it's a virtual reality game. It's a Vive exclusive, and you have to have bought one of those other pucks so you can fit it to your shoe.
Right.
Or if you are going to use like the Oculus Rift, you have to get like the shoe add-on that you can put the
trackers on.
Like one of the touch controllers into. It's sort of like
is that a thing? I wonder how many of those have been broken by using that particular peripheral.
Well, I don't know whether you saw how they did Rock Band Live or whatever it was on the PC.
No.
But basically they had attachment that you could just put the touch controller into that fit at the top of the guitar, so it would actually tell you where the end of the guitar was.
Okay.
So you could do the same thing. You could just get an attachment for the shoe that plug that in, and there you go. You've now got you got your right hand to like drop the people, and then you can just boot them.
The problem is that I won't be able to play this game because there's no way they're going to release size 15 shoes with the fucking the attachment.
Oh no! The way it'll actually work
it goes
is
on your
is
shoe in some way. Maybe it clips to your ankle.
I was thinking it could just slip in where the tongue is,
right?
You know, of the shoe, just slip under that.
Sounds sexy.
Yes, and then you use the tongue to like
To just centrally nestle the touch controller into the
or
opening.
Vive wand to or tracker or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the game? You get to kick things?
You get to kick. Well, you're again a maker, so you're the god.
Oh, I
and
see.
you get to pick up people and just boot them into the sun if you want, or
whatever. Just it's virtual reality. The possibilities are endless.
yes,
Whatever you want to kick people into, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds amazing.
I'm having to click again because I've got nothing else.
Yeah, we're kind of getting a run here of mediocre.
Yep, 3, 2, 1, click.
All right, I don't know if this is going to be much better. Corporation.
Quotation.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Click again.
All right. Manufacturing.
Wit.
So it's someone. Okay, manufacturing wit. Now that's an interesting dilemma or like oxymoron because you know, comedy wit is not generally something you can manufacture. You know, it comes from the unforeseeable. It comes from the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we get a game out of that.
It's a mobile game of the movie Clerks. And so as each customer comes to you, you have to come up with a witty response. So that's manufacturing the wit.
Okay.
By putting together verbs.
How does the game judge you on your responses? Is this one of these things where it sends it to another player and they have to give it a score?
Yeah, okay.
Maybe that player, maybe it's other players that even come up with the thing, like, so Jesus. So a player, so you start up your app
Yep.
and it's like, you're at the store, it presents you with a storefront and the Facebook picture of someone else pasted onto the front of a clerk. And you have to choose something to buy and then you have to come up with some asshole remark.
And then the person has to literally type in their response.
Yeah,
back.
and then once you've done that, you get the response to someone else. Like, it's not to your own asshole remark. It's to someone. You get the response. You see someone else's asshole remark, and the response made by another clerk, and you get to say, 5-star comeback, dude, and they get points.
Okay, click again. 3,
This
2,
is
1.
terrible. Oh my god, the end of this episode is going off the rails. Stability.
Corpse.
All right, here we go. It's a skateboarding game. But everyone's dead. It's a zombie skateboarding game. And depending on which limbs you have left, you have to balance.
So I was thinking with stability,
Yeah.
it could be you got to try and keep your body fresh.
Okay.
Because if you let it get too decayed, then you're less stable and you're going to...
You can't keep up a stable income.
You're going to start losing, like, fingers and legs and...
Yeah.
And then it becomes harder and harder to bring in a stable income. So I kind of like the idea of... you've seen the TV show of Santa Clarita Diet?
Yes.
So I'm thinking that it's kind of like that you've just found out that you're...
Okay. You've just
You're
become
dead.
zombified. Yeah, you're dead. And if you don't eat human flesh, you're going to start decaying.
Yep. So you're trying to
Keep up appearances.
keep up appearances, keep your job on the line, as well as be able to actually hunt and kill people.
Right. Okay.
So I kind of like the idea of you're playing Drew Barrymore.
Okay, so it's literally a licensed game.
Oh, yeah,
version
it's a licensed
of
game.
Santa Clarita Diet. Okay, so he plays Drew Barrymore, and so is it about like is there obviously there's some sort of stealth elements in that you can't be seen killing people.
Can't be seen killing people. You got to try and clean up your mess afterwards. You've got a husband who wants to help out, but he's sickened by the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And you're also you got to try and not leave anyone alive, otherwise they also become a zombie.
Right. Okay. So maybe it plays out on sort of a day-by-day basis, and every day you have tasks to do that are just your regular day-to-day tasks.
Yep.
But also, at some point in that day, you have to kill and eat someone and make sure that their body is to the point that they're not going to come back.
Yep. Now you can actually, freeze them in a freezer and put them into your what's it called, storage container. Mm-hmm. And make human smoothies.
Okay, so you don't have to necessarily kill someone every day as long as you've got enough of a stock of relatively fresh meat.
Obviously,
human flesh.
You're trying to sell houses at the same time.
Right, so that's part of that's part of your sort of day-to-day tasks that you have to go about doing.
Yep. I think this has got a lot of possibilities as a game, really.
Wait. You just bypassed the opportunity to say this game's got a lot of meat on its bones. Come on, man.
You do the bad puns, not me.
So I'm thinking it's almost like it almost writes itself. It's like a third-person kind of stealthy, action-y adventure, GTA-esque sort of thing.
Yep.
Open-ish world.
So
different characters, cutscenes.
As you're driving around, if you haven't managed to eat anything for a while, your rage meter just starts getting higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
To the point that you almost can't control your character if you're walking past someone.
Right, they're just going to attack them. Your character will
just attack them unless you can sort of, beat your will with like one of the QuickTime events or pressing the button.
Some sort of mini game. Yeah, I like that. So you really have to make sure you find someone in a dark alley somewhere before your rage meter gets so high that you just kill, someone in a crowded street.
Yeah. And of course, going with how they tried to do it, one of their tasks was to actually find someone who was a bad person.
Right. Okay. So it comes. Yeah. Okay. It comes down to who you kill based on what you find out about them in some way. So there's almost an element of like watchdogs where you're kind of like tapping their phones or something. I don't know. Like you'd have to come up with some way of finding out who's a bad person.
Yep.
Or maybe you just see events happen. There are random events where you see someone like steal a handbag. It's like, yeah, that's bad enough. Follow them down an alley. My rage meter and my decomposition meter are way too high for me to worry about how bad this person actually is.
So basically, as you're going through the game, you can either attack random civilians that there's no one around, but then your guilt meter will go up. And if you feel too guilty, then you may actually have an uncontrollable urge to call the cops on yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happens when your guilt meter gets too high? Is it just game over? Did you turn yourself in?
Yeah, I think you've got that sort of idea. You've got some elements from the TV show as well, in that you've got a nosy neighbor who is doing some bad shit as well.
Mm-hmm.
You end up having to kill. You've got Nathan Fillion as the well, the Nathan Fillion part isn't a spoiler. He dies in the first episode. But I know I think it's got a lot of meat on its bones. There you go.
Well, I already made the joke, Trevor.
Just cut out the other one.
Oh yeah, I'll give you the credit. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
Where else could we go with this? Trying not to hit too many beats of the TV show.
Yeah, you generally want to let it stand on its own to some degree.
I think you can just get reports every now and again from your husband who's doing some research as to try and get rid of this for you.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, there could be an overarching sort of story that results in you being cured, I suppose. I mean, again, that's maybe, I don't know where the show's going to go, but that's maybe following the show a bit too closely. But
yeah. But I like the idea of you've got nothing really to do with that. You're just having to determine how you beat some of these people.
Sort of it's third person action adventure / The Sims / resource management of your meat storage. It's like I only have one arm and 3 toes left in my freezer. I really need to find someone today.
And toes are, they're yummy just like chicken wings, but come on, there's not much meat on those
it's like
those toes.
It's like popcorn chicken.
Once you pop, you just can't stop. Like Pringles.
That's it. All right. Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking for graphics wise.
Okay.
Some of it can be cel shaded because I like that idea, but it's just gonna be like super, super, super gory.
Oh yeah. Just
Like
gushes of blood, just arcing gushes of blood.
Yep. So, you can sort of set up the scene to keep it clean, using plastic bags and all that sort of stuff and wearing like one of those plastic raincoat sort of things.
Right. Okay. You can take some preparations before you kill someone.
Yeah.
As long as you've got time between like open houses.
The other thing is, I think you have to keep the whole idea of like the puke.
Oh, yeah.
The puke for becoming a zombie. So the start of it, you can literally walk in to do the open house, and then you start feeling sick.
It's like fully dynamic puke physics.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you paint the bathroom.
Yeah, totally. I feel like this game needs that. Did you ever play Viscera Cleanup Detail?
Yeah,
I feel like it needs that engine.
Yeah, I think that's a strong enough one to end on. So
I think so. I think we pulled it off.
Yes.
So thank you everybody for joining us today on Bitstorm. It's been fun. We came up with some cool stuff. If you want to find us on the internet, so we're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Bitstormcast. We also have a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Bitstorm. We put up a listener click pitch there every week. It's a bit of fun. We're also on Podchaser, which is my website. Go there, podchaser.com. Search for Bitstorm.
We're also on iTunes, where you can rate, review, and subscribe. We've got a website, bitstormcast.com. We'd like to thank all the people out there in AGPN land, the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network.
See y'all at PAX.
See y'all at PAX.
Next week, bitches.
In fact, when this comes out, we've seen you at PAX.
Oh, yeah. We've got a buffer now.
Yeah. And finally, we'd like to thank Kuradust for the song Man Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
Awesome. We zoomed through that. That was great. So, again, thank you for joining us. I have been Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
You can't return that fleshlight.